Well, hello, everybody. Oh, it's so good to see all of you. And me and this pal over here are doing things. You know about these, right? Have you ever seen one of these before? What's the name of this?
An owl.
This is the owl. So the owl follows you wherever your voice is from, and it matches up with the video. And the church has this, so that's why it sort of sticks out here, is to grab everybody whenever you speak, not because they're looking at you all the time. That's good. Oh, boy. Well, as I was saying, I'm happy to see you all. Catherine Luckner, and this is our first meeting of 2024, and I think it's going to be a really good one. We got a lot of very substantive things to bring up to you today, and announcements and things. But first and foremost, which we always appreciate, is the time of our sergeant for Siesta Key for the sheriff's office. So please come up and welcome Sergeant Smith, because he has some very important new information to share, I understand.
Good afternoon, everybody. Hi. All right, so this is the report for December 1st through the 31st, 2023. I also brought along with me last year's report, same month, December 1st through the 31st, 2022, to compare the stats. All right. So this year, there were 227 calls for service on Siesta Key. 14 incidents, or 6% of the total, were persons or property crimes. So that's compared to last year. So this year we're 227 calls and 6%. Last year was 288 calls and 8%. So a little bit less, and a little bit less percentage of the persons and property crimes. All right. And here's the breakdown of those 14 incidents. There were 1 aggravated assault, 4 simple assault, 1 residential burglary, 1 non-residential burglary, 1 grand larceny, 1 grand larceny from a building, 3 petty theft, 1 petty theft by an employee, and 1 wire fraud, phone, computer, email, text. In the 2 burglaries that were reported, in the first case, a residence under construction was entered and vandalized. In the second incident, a subject from out of town entered the incorrect location while looking for their rental unit, causing damage to the door. Yeah. You want to make sure you're going in the right place. 3 of the 5 total. Yeah. 3 of the 5 total assault incidents involved parties that were known to each other, and arrests were made in 2 of the cases. The reported thefts included a wallet taken from an unattended beach bag, an unsecured bicycle stolen from a bike rack, outdoor furniture and wreaths stolen, a firearm possibly taken by contractors after a recent move, and tools not returned to an employer. And that is the total of the persons and property crimes for the month, the 6%, 14 incidents. And that's the December report. And like I said, from last year, it did go down a little bit, calls for service and the percentage of person or property crimes.
Sergeant, thanks for bringing the historical data.
You're welcome. Yeah, I have them. I have them since I've been out here now a little bit. I can look back at my emails and just print off the old one and bring it. So it's kind of that comparison. And, even depending on how long I'm out here for, I can maybe do a few years, 3 years or something like that. But, it does hover around that 6-8%. So we're doing good here. We're looking good. Yes, sir.
Is that an average per month? 200 incidents a month?
It depends on the month. So for December, where there's less people here other than that week of Christmas break and things like that, where a lot of people do come down. But it's a lot of families and things like that. So I can look at previous years. I don't know how much data I have for the calls for service, but I would think with last year being 288, this year being 227, it's a good baseline.
You think that with more renters and more people, numbers have been higher than a year ago? Are you patrolling more? Why do you think it's less down?
Oh, I mean, we're absolutely patrolling as much as we were last year, if not more. It's just cyclical crime, how it kind of just happens throughout the year, what people travel here, what volumes, so that's a lot of, it's a lot of data. It's a lot of different variables that can go into that, the reason why. It just kind of fluctuates throughout the year.
Are they different in nature? Are they different in nature from a year ago? You find that it's, I don't know, I don't use the word violent, but are they different types of crimes or just kind of the same thing?
It's pretty much the same. A lot of vehicle burglaries from vehicles that are unlocked. A lot of the burglary type things and the assaults that come associated with bars and bar area to bar districts, the nighttime stuff. So it's typically those type of calls that occur year to year, month to month. Yeah.
Some information for you. I live in Siesta Key, and in December around Christmas time, the Christmas wreath was stolen off our front door.
Okay.
And we've never had that happen before.
Yeah.
We have another neighbor, my wife put out a message to the Siesta Association,
Mhm.
and we had a neighbor not too far away had the same thing happen.
So is this your report here that you called on that I spoke of?
Could be I just walked in the door.
Okay, yeah, I did say from some of the theft reports that outdoor furniture and wreaths were stolen. Did you call in that case?
Yes, I called in.
Okay, great, yeah.
And it was interesting. The officer was interested in talking to me about it, and but I didn't have a ring doorbell.
Okay,
He was telling me maybe you should have a ring doorbell.
yeah, if you don't have them, they're great.
I bought a ring doorbell.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to install that now.
Yeah, they're great. I have some of those as well, and
We might need it because just the other night, somebody ran up to the door and pounded on it and then ran away.
oh, yeah. Yeah,
And
call for
like I
that.
said,
You can call for that
TikTok.
kind of things too.
TikTok is having some kids chase around like that.
Yeah, TikTok, they see that stuff on there and think they need to do it too, and think it's some strange things on there, like eating Tide Pods and things like that. Not good.
Well, we'll have a ring doorbell there.
Can you tell us how many citations you've written for dogs on the beach
One
in 23?
in 2023, yes, one citation for dog on the beach. Most people are compliant, and we'll take the dog off the beach when we speak to them, or it's a service animal.
Is the beach smoke free now? I haven't been up there.
Yes, for tobacco, cigarettes, rolling tobacco, things like that, but cigars are still allowed, and e-cigarettes. E-cigarettes, the vape devices,
Are
yes.
people compliant for the most part?
Yes, mhm,
Can I ask you another related question to that?
yeah.
How far down the beach, let's say from the public beach to Plymouth Rocks, how far down is that enforced? A lot of the
Of
beaches
what?
are private, there's no smoking.
It's the entire beach. The county ordinance covers the entire beach,
So even,
public and private property,
I'm sorry,
public and private
Okay.
property.
because we manage private property and we weren't sure how
Yes.
far down,
Mhm.
okay.
It's a county ordinance that covers all the beach. And it's described in the county ordinance for the beach from the Palmer Point Park north to the Sarasota Police Department city limits.
Okay, I've been trying to call somebody at the county for 3 months to
Mhm.
get that information. And I have not been,
Call me or email me or
Horrible.
ask Catherine.
because our private beach goes down and then there's the area that people walk on.
Mhm.
It's still our property. But it's,
You're talking about west of the mean high tide?
yeah,
Yeah, it's public property
but
for
even on
them.
our beach, on the other side of the mean high water line,
Mhm.
it would still be enforced.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
I need to know, thank you.
So as you can go back now and look at different months and see what the level of crime is,
Mhm.
it's possible to find out what is the worst month.
I'm sure it is. Yeah, I can ask the crime analyst that prepares these for me, but I would say it's spring break time. Yeah, March, April, May, but probably March. When our local kids are out of school, that's probably, I think it's coming up March. I think last year was March 11th through the 20th or something like that. So I would probably say one of those spring break months has the most amount of calls for service.
Can you explain why, cigars and pipes and not, excluding, we'd say last longer, smell worse than cigarettes.
I-
Filters, because of the.
Mostly, yeah, it's for the filters of the cigarettes. So that's what's not biodegradable. People are throwing them down in the ground. I'm not sure why cigars aren't, but it's, you know, biodegradable.
You're being invaded, you're on the beach, a public beach for exercise and enjoyment.
It's about,
The coastline.
yeah, it's about the filters. So, the filters that are being thrown down in the sand and, they don't biodegrade. Okay,
Well, I just want to say thank you, because I think you guys do a great job.
thanks, sir. I appreciate that.
Vehicles, police vehicles on the key,
Mhm.
it just makes me feel a lot more comfortable. It's nice to know that people are watching out for them.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Can you explain to me why the last couple of days there's been a Sarasota police car parked before you go over the North Bridge, that little beach area on the right hand side?
So I saw that car parked in another place before. So I think it's a strategic thing that they're doing as a visibility. So they're,
That's something, I've seen that done before.
Mhm,
I just think it's successful, it's slowing people down.
mhm.
Is that something you've ever considered doing, say, right outside the village on the north side?
We've done it with our vehicles in the village on busy days. So we have done that, where we'll put our vehicles in the village and then we'll patrol in the four-wheelers like we normally do. So there's a lot more visibility, a lot more appearance of police presence, yes. Real quick, I'd like, yes.
What is medium high tide or medium high tide? What
Medium
is
high tide.
So it's where the water fluctuates in the tide. It's difficult to describe, and the sheriff came here once before and read the state statute, which describes that. But it's the line that the tide moves up and down, and it basically moves private property lines back and forth. And anybody in the state of Florida can enjoy the beach west of the mean high tide water line.
It's where there's a visible change in the characteristic of the city. So you can be walking towards the water and the sand's all nice and fluffy, and then it's gonna get hard, it's gonna get wet, it's gonna get hard. That's about the mean high water line.
It's a
About changes.
it's a general rule of thumb is the wet sand, but it does change. So the coastline in Florida is to be enjoyed by everybody, that's what it's for. Real quick before I go, last time I was here, I talked about the app for the sheriff's office. And I downloaded the app. I have the app on my phone. Here's what it looks like if everybody can kind of see it. All right. So on this app, you can submit a tip. You can look at the 911 call log. So if you think something happened across the street, you can look on here and see it. You can see who's in jail, most wanted, sex offenders, unsolved crimes, contact us, volunteer. So if you click on the contact us, it lists the emergency number, which is 911, non-emergency number, our website and email where our headquarters is located. But most importantly, you can go on the app here and submit a tip. If you didn't want to call 911 or the non-emergency line, but you still want somebody to know about it, you can go on this app and submit a tip just using this button here, and it'll pop up and say, in case of an emergency, call 911. You can say continue, and then you can put all the information in here about the tip or a scenario that you saw happen, and then it can get to the correct
What's
people.
the name of the app?
It is Sarasota CO Sheriff.
Sarasota CO?
Yes, county, yep. That's what the app is named, Sarasota CO Sheriff. And when you go to the app store,
That's great.
it has the sheriff's office star symbol on it, so you'll be able to see it has our star. And it is a good resource for you to have. I know a lot of times people don't want to call 911 or don't want to call the non-emergency number because you think that a lot of people think that they're bothering law enforcement by doing so. You're not. If you see something, go ahead and report it. Call us, please. If you don't want to call, at least you can report it on the app and just do it right from your phone. Okay.
That's great. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Can I get one more? What instances have you seen or come by for vagrants slash homelessness? What kind of policy do we have in Siesta Key?
Well, there's a homeless outreach team that is sheriff's office employees and civilians, and they work together with homeless programs and things like that to try to help people along and help them, give them food, places to stay. But the person has to be willing to do those programs, willing to help themselves as well.
But as far as any prohibitions for any vagrancy or homelessness on, like in the village itself?
No,
Any policy on that at all?
no.
Yes. Yeah, does porch pirates come under you?
Yeah, theft, yes.
What kind of, are you hearing any activity on the island? A lot of people ask me about it, but they don't think they're come out here. They say, oh, they won't come out here.
Not that I've heard or that's been reported in this.
What was the question?
For if you have packages on your porch, if people are coming up and stealing those packages before you can get home and get them. Not that I'm aware of. If it is happening, people might not be reporting it, but it's not something that's widespread here on the island.
Okay.
Any more questions?
Can I just follow up on that homeless?
Yes,
You're saying there is no policy for homeless people, so if they came, say, Dutchman came, then parked in the parking lot of the village.
well, camping and things like that, there's ordinance against camping overnight and something like that. And I'd have to research the specific, because there's camping on the beach. I'd have to do a little bit more research. You're talking about creating a tent city along the sidewalk. I'm sure there'd be something that we would be able to do about that. But homeless subjects sitting on public benches that anybody else can sit on all day, no, we're not gonna go and make them move.
Just if they stay there overnight.
Well, it depends on camping, and there's kind of a lot to go into it. We'd like to utilize the homeless outreach team and hopefully educate, help them get housing, help them get job, things like that versus enforcement. It's a tough situation to where at the end, yeah, maybe there will be an enforcement. But just like the community policing job that I do on the beach, like the gentleman back here asked about dogs, enforcement is going to be a last resort for us. Trying to help with the homeless outreach team is going to be the priority on that. And I'm not 100% familiar on all the policies that the homeless outreach team utilizes and all of their programs, but it's a great unit and they do a really good job trying to help.
I have a question if it's appropriate to ask on that topic.
Sure.
Yeah, on we got Lance there. Lance has been picked up and sent to the court and everything, and he was found to be a resistant, meaning he can walk, he's perfectly capable of financially taking care of himself. He just chooses to sit in the middle of the sidewalk and drink and smoke and cuss at kids. And it's getting to be really too much. He's spitting on people and everything else. So that property there, I think Benderson owns it, that he sits in front of. And if you remember back to the when they did the merchant association, the owners gave the county a utility easement to bury the utility. So what I'm saying is the owners own to the middle of the street. The county has an easement over the street because they've maintained it. And the owners own the sidewalk, which the county has an easement over because they gave it to them. I know all of this because Mark Smith, if he's in the audience, he can back this up. The issue is Lance is sitting on private property, but the county has an easement on the sidewalk, and he's sitting there peeing and cussing and spitting on people. It's time for him to go.
Well, so I don't know about those incidents of him doing those things, but those would be crimes. And if he is spitting on people, I would encourage that victim of that crime to contact the sheriff's office. But I have had no reports of that.
I sent a video. I sent videos of him spitting and cussing on people. The point is, he's sitting there.
I would need that person
Okay.
that was spit on to be a
was-
victim of the crime.
Yeah, that I would be happy to do that. And what I'm saying is, he can't stop, stand, or park in the middle of the sidewalk and drink all day and smoke cigarettes and leave butts on the ground all day. It's illegal. He's loitering. He has to go. Is there anything? I've talked to Judge Quartermain about this. She had him picked up and evaluated. And basically, the sheriff's office doesn't want to deal with him because he's a resistant, meaning they can't just Baker Act him or put him in a home.
Well, there's criteria for Baker Act with the sheriff's office has to meet and law enforcement has to meet to be able to take somebody under protective custody.
Yeah, they can't do that. We've already tried, and he's a resistant. He's perfectly capable of making decisions, and he has financial wherewithal in the bank.
Yeah.
So the thing is, if I was sitting, or anybody else in this room, including you, was sitting on that sidewalk drinking all day and peeing and dropping cigarette butts and loitering, it would be dealt with. And I know
if he's drinking, that's drinking on the right of way. And smoking and littering, those are crimes that law enforcement can deal with. But I don't have the information or know the information that sidewalk is not a public space.
Well, it is. It's privately owned with a public easement over it because the owners.
Yeah, that's information that I don't know as a fact. What
Well,
I know
Mark
is that it's
Smith
a county
is there.
maintained road, and the county maintains the sidewalk, so it's a.
Okay. Well, we can't have somebody sitting in the middle of the sidewalk peeing and dropping cigarette butts and being drunk all day long. It's not a bench. He's not sitting on a park bench. He's sitting in his chair and he can walk, and he just sits there and drinks and collects money and stuff. And he's just not.
Maybe we can have him connect with that homeless outreach program.
It has to be willing.
No, I mean, the person who's calling could get some more information from them about intervention.
Yeah.
That's
I don't have all the answers for that. I can reach out to homeless outreach and see what sort of programs that they can suggest, and have them come out and speak with him.
What about open container?
Open containers are crime. Yeah. So littering and open containers are crimes that can be dealt with, but it wouldn't be a physical arrest to jail. It's a misdemeanor where an adult pre-arrest diversion program would be used, where he's received a piece of paper. Okay.
If it helps, he's already been picked up by Bill, the homeless unit. Cause like I help homeless people quite a bit. And what I'm saying is Lance isn't somebody that cannot be helped. He's stamped as a resistant. So they've already picked him up. I don't know what that
means.
A resistant means they refuse help in any kind of capacity, but they're mentally and financially able to take care of themselves. So there's nothing the court can do.
If it's a choice that he chooses to live that way,
yes.
Law enforcement can deal with crimes, absolutely. But if somebody chooses to live that way, law enforcement, even with the homeless outreach team, if he's not willing to use their resources, the sheriff's office can't make him use those resources.
Right. But how do we get him off the sidewalk and stop being a nuisance and loitering? Because it's not healthy for anybody.
Yeah.
And the city had the same issue with him. And the city of Sarasota, I believe they trespassed him from the city of Sarasota, and that's why he's on Siesta.
Yeah, I don't know that.
You can gather some more information maybe for you, Michael.
Sure.
This is Mike Holderness, by the way, just so you know. You've asked Mike to send you the video and get someone to.
Well, if it's a video taken of somebody else spitting on somebody else, but the person spit on isn't coming forward saying, I want to be a victim of a crime.
Come forward.
So
he does that.
He spit on me. He spit on me and somebody else, and we videotaped it and I turned that in over a year ago. So
I'll pull it out again, Mike. Did you file it? We're just sending
the point is I've spent 2 years on this topic, and maybe we could just, there's got to be something we can do. He can't sit there and drink.
Maybe
I keep muting and he keeps on muting.
we will have to stop on this conversation, but I do think it's something we could research before the next meeting. How about that? And, we can go on then.
I can reach out to homeless outreach and see what kind of programs they have. A friend of mine runs it. He's the sergeant of it. So I can reach out to him and see what they can do. And he'll give me some pointers to help me in an area that I'm not 100% familiar with.
It's a hard thing. It's hard. Usually people don't come forward to say.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Are we good now with the sheriff today? Because you've done quite a
Thank
job
you.
on getting the past and the present connected.
Yeah, trying to.
Thank you.
All right.
Lisa Tora, our code enforcement officer, come on down. We probably have a few questions for you too. Maybe not exactly the same, but. Good to see you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Happy New Year. Hope everybody had a good holiday season. With the code enforcement, not too busy for the month of December. We had 3 cases involving commercial and unlicensed vehicles on private property. 2 of those properties were brought into compliance by the property owner. And one of the properties we had to issue a notice of violation, which is 1 step before court, to have that vehicle removed. They still have time, probably another week and a half. We had 2 cases of improper outdoor storage. That's people have garbage and debris out in the yard. We had them clean that up. That's a violation of code. Both properties were brought into compliance once they were notified. Short-term rental investigations started to pick up in December. 2 cases were investigated, but it was determined that they were not in violation. A lot of times, residents will see a new plate in the driveway and just automatically call us to check on it, and we do. In those 2 incidences, no violation. Signs in the rights of way of the roadway, I removed 12 on the island in December. So any of the push-in signs for parking or, yeah, I'm sure a lot of people saw the we'll hang your lights, your Christmas light signs. We take those out if they're in the right of way. And our nighttime crew continues to monitor the bars and restaurants for violation of the noise limit. So far in December and November, no violations were detected. Any questions?
About the signs in the right of way. I've seen a sign that says, I believe it's in the right of way, it says no parking zone, tow-away zone in a residential area.
Florida residents can tow vehicles from private property, but they cannot tow vehicles from county property. So that's rights of way, that's 4 feet in from the property to the road. So if there's a vehicle on county property and a private property owner tows it, they cannot do that. They can be in violation.
I'll give you the information.
Sure. Is that the house up on Heigl at the corner of Treasure Boat?
Yeah,
Yeah.
not Treasure Boat, Waterside Way.
Yeah, down, yeah.
Okay.
I know that house. I just saw those signs not too long ago, so we'll be addressing that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can do it, I'll put one of those.
Well, they can't post the sign in the right of way.
Yeah.
But I know those signs are on their private property, but they cannot enforce no parking on the right of way.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Are you permitted to park your car across the sidewalk?
No, you can't block or obstruct the
It's
sidewalk.
all over the queue.
I know.
I walk a lot, it's everywhere. Do
Okay.
you guys like put anything under a windshield or does anybody do anything about it?
Well, code enforcement, we have steps. One of them is a 7-day courtesy notice. So if I put a 7-day courtesy notice on their windshield, technically I can't check it for 7 days. So they're so they're only going to be there a few hours. I think that if maybe the sheriff's office can, if there's a posted area of no parking, like a county sign, sheriff's office can issue a ticket for that, and they may have a citation for parking on the sidewalk. I'm not sure, but you would have to
It could
contact
be
them.
like a property that has maybe a space for 2 cars and they got 5 cars. So they got.
Oh, so they're in the driveway and they're extending out?
And 2 behind.
Yeah, no, you can't. can't do that.
It's everywhere.
And there's a limit of 4 vehicles per property on the outside.
No.
So if you see anything more than 4 vehicles overnight, not during the day because people have company, but overnight on a consistent
They
basis,
just keep leaving them across the sidewalk.
no.
You had mentioned that the nighttime crew continues to monitor the bars and restaurants for noise violation. Could you speak a little bit about how frequently that occurs? And then also, if we want to report a noise violation, should we be contacting your office or the sheriff's office?
No, you contact code enforcement, 941 861-5000. Ask for code enforcement and you can give them the address. But we periodically go out. We have a nighttime crew that goes out. When violations aren't being detected by them, they kind of, decrease their monitoring. But if we get a complaint from a resident who lives nearby, then they'll start an investigation and, continue, they'll monitor for about 4 or 5 weeks and see, if the noise level is above what code allows.
Could you say that number again?
941 861-5000.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
There's been a lot of concern for a very long time about the growth of so-called house hotels on Siesta Key. And recently, in looking at the comprehensive plan and the comprehensive plan specifically for Siesta Key, there was some language in there that made it look to a number of us that it could be used to clamp down on what's been going on with house hotels. For example, where a developer buys a single family home, has 3 bedrooms, it converts it into 6 or 7 bedrooms, and then he claims he's got a bunch of registers as a regular house, but then rents it out.
Yeah,
Are you?
Someone in the back could not hear.
Well, you can repeat the.
I'll repeat the question.
Put it in his lingo, and he's got the mic.
Yeah.
You understand the point I'm making.
Yeah, I know. The question was, house hotels where, an investor owns a house and they rent out several, rooms, for people to vacation in. That is allowed, as long as that house has a common area of a kitchen and at least 1 bathroom available to everybody who rents. Now, if they're in a residential single-family zone, they have to abide by the 30-day limit rental policy. If it's a house that's in a residential multifamily zone, then they fall into the category of not really a limitation of how long they can
So
rent.
does that mean you're checking out that if a place is actually renting out to multiple folks, right, over short-term rentals, they actually have bathrooms for everybody? Are you going into those buildings?
We cannot, we don't have the authority to do that. We're not law enforcement.
No, but the comprehensive plan, if you look at the comprehensive plan specific for Siesta Key, you got, I've forgotten what the other term is, but the bed and breakfast and one other term that certainly seem to apply to this particular process that's going on. I mean, the way these places get constructed is a building is a family home. It has, 1 kitchen and however many, let's say two bedrooms, bathrooms, maybe 3, and gets converted into something that's, can house a hell of a lot more people and does with short-term rentals. And then the way they get permitted on it is they don't say that's what they're going to do. And then they do it.
Well, the homeowner can do that if
not consistent with my reading of the comprehensive plan and some other people whose opinion I respect, like lawyers.
Yeah.
Look at that comprehensive plan, but no action has been taken consistent with that comprehensive plan. I'm just suggesting to you in a polite way, just take a look for yourself.
Okay.
I mean, you're clearly a neat guy. Take a look at the comprehensive plan and look at the wording of the comprehensive plan specific for Siesta Key. It's there. I read it.
Okay.
Just take a look at it with your own judgment and
I'll make sure, I'll check what the code says.
Right.
And what the plan
That would
says.
be really great.
And we'll I'll compare the
I'll
two.
see you next meeting and you can.
I'll be here.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And one more question.
Yes, ma'am.
If there's a house violating the 30-day rental rule, what do you want from neighbors? If, what kind of evidence do you need from neighbors if that's happening?
What all the court allows for the neighbors to do is let us know that there is a suspicion of somebody there less than 30 days. So if you file a report with the county and give the address, and we'll go down there and investigate. And typically what we do is we'll take photos. If it's an out-of-state plate, we'll take photos. We'll try to make contact with the vacationer, and a lot of times the vacationer doesn't know the law. They're just coming down on vacation. So we try not to put them on the spot, because sometimes we go to them and say, well, how long are you here for? And the first words out of their mouth is, am I in trouble? And we don't want them to feel that they can't come to Siesta Key. And
Right.
so what we'll do is, sometimes neighbors will walk up and say, hey, how you doing? How long are you here for? And just general conversation. And they'll say, well, I'm here for 2 weeks, or I'm here for a month and a half. But we have to go on the websites and put that property into the websites like VRBO and Airbnb. And we go in, we try to reserve those rooms for those houses for less than 30 days. And if we're able to, then they're in violation of the advertisement. And then I'll always add on the violation of the actual short-term rental less than 30 days, because they kind of go hand in hand.
Right.
So, just a tip from the neighbors, and then we take that investigation to that point. And if we do, and I just found one today, and I just sent a notice of violation to the owners, they're out of state, over on Avenida Del Mar. So we go into the websites, we research, and but typically we've tried in the past to bring the neighbors to court, and the magistrate doesn't allow that. They want it confirmed by the code enforcement officer. But we use your information to gain ours,
Yeah, so you don't need us to take pictures of the lights.
No, because we can't introduce that in court.
So as long as we suspect it, we just get on the
Yep.
your number.
Exactly.
The address, and then.
Yeah.
And probably the more we call, the more you're likely to get over there and.
I go right away.
One quick question. Can people reach to you through the 311? When you use the 311 to dial into the county, can they link to you through that?
To file a report?
Yes, or to get information to you. Everybody's been learning to use the 311 because it sort of bypasses dialing the whole number, and I didn't know if it also would be good to use.
It's either number.
You get the same place.
It's either number, you get the same
That's
place.
what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I
same
want to make
place.
sure that if they've been trying, they can still reach you.
Yeah,
Okay.
possibly, I'm not sure, but we just switched over to new software, and with our old software, residents can go on there and punch in the address that they think is under investigation, and find out the course of our investigation and where we're at. With the new software we have now, that's still in the works, so eventually you'll be able to do that. So if you know of a report that's made, you can look it up on our website and follow the investigation, see what we're doing.
Raise your hand if you have had problems in your immediate neighborhood with hotel houses. I'm just
With
curious.
what?
The hotel houses and short-term rentals. Two people, 3, 4, 5. Okay.
Not too bad. Forget this area.
Yeah.
Thank you so much
You're
for
welcome.
coming. See you again.